All right, this is going to be my last video over this homework, vertical shifts. So, vertical shifts. The good news is the vertical shift will affect the entire graph. So, if the graph has a vertical shift, every single equation will have that vertical shift in it. So, number 1 does not have a vertical shift. You're looking at that midline. It cuts the graph in half horizontally. So, we're used to the midline always being the x-axis for the most part. And how we can verify that this is the midline is that it's halfway between the max and the min. So, here, our max is 3 and our min is -3. And then our midline is at 0. So it's halfway between like it's supposed to be. Now, our first vertical shift problem, it's not as obvious, but number 3 here has a vertical shift. Let's say you didn't notice that at first. Here, our max is at 3. Our min is at -5. Midline, well, I think the midline is the 0. Well, I've got 3 units above and 5 below. This is not my midline. So, how do I find the midline? You got options here. As long as we give you whole numbers and we stick inside those whole numbers, you can just do some basic counting here. So we've got 3 and 5. The distance from max to min is 8. So you want to find the number that's in the middle, 4 units away from both of them. So if I go up 4 from -5, I end at -1. And then if I go up 4 from -1, I end up at 3. So this is my halfway point. Another way to do this, and this might be important if we throw decimals at you or any numbers that are not favorable, you can always average your max with your min, and that number you'll get out of that formula is the number halfway between the two. So if you remember how to take an average, you add the two numbers together, 3 plus -5, divide it by the number of numbers, so 2. 3 plus -5, that's -2. Over 2 gives you -1. So, the vertical shift here is -1. So, number 1, no vertical shift. Number 3 has a vertical shift. It's down 1. Let's look at another. Now, these graphs, I think, are a bit more obvious in that their midline is not the x-axis. They have been shifted quite a bit. So let's do number 5 real quick, just for practice. The max here is at 1. The min is at -5. This has a distance of 6, so halfway would be 3. So I go up 3 from -5. -2 is my midline. And again, quickly check and make sure it is halfway between both the max and the min. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yep. So again, the vertical shift is -2. Down 2. So it actually is whatever number it lands on the y-axis. That's very convenient because we're starting at 0. So that vertical shift, like on number 1, would technically be 0, so we don't write it. So it's whatever number is here. So it's down 2, it starts at -2. So that's really convenient. that's pretty much all there is to it, to vertical shift. So hopefully that cleared up any questions you may have had. All right. Hopefully between the 3 videos I made, any questions over the homework have been covered. If you still have questions for me, feel free to reach out to me via email. Otherwise, I will see you guys later. Bye.